All right, back again here on the Sort of Sports podcast, and it's been a little while. Last time I recorded, it was in June, and I actually have a genuinely, I believe this time, a solid reason. First off, let me figure out the exact date it was. Let me pull up this video. It was June 25th, so that was right after the draft, and I was really excited about everything that went on there. And then, Summer League went on, free agency went on for the NBA. MLB All-Star Game happened, so a lot of stuff happened. Trade deadlines, what we're going to talk about today. That's one of the main things. And then Comic-Con went on. So I was going to talk about the stuff that DC unveiled, stuff Marvel unveiled, and just in general what other big movies are really left in 2022 for me. So because, we do have the sort of sporties at the end of the year. And as long as you watch that episode, because, I can't force you to watch it, but as long as you watch it, you'll know. Well, I don't know why I forgot what. I don't know how I lost my train of thought. I was literally just on it. Oh yeah, you'll know that what my best movies of 2022 are. So yeah, we'll discuss all that. But first things first. I just have to express my disappointment in Kevin Durant and Donovan Mitchell. Not really Donovan Mitchell. He didn't do anything wrong. More KD. He makes this big fuss about getting traded. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll just wait and record a podcast as soon as KD's traded. It should probably happen within the next, week. So a week goes by because free agency started July 1st. Still not traded. I was like, okay, maybe another week. Still not traded. Gave it another week. Still not traded. So at this point, I had a family vacation that I went on, and I was like, okay, well, when Soto gets traded, then I'll record. So that was the new deal. So, KD, what the heck? If anyone here follows me on Twitter, you probably saw the tweet. I said something along the lines of, well, I've been waiting 19 days now for KD to get traded, and still nothing. So, yeah, follow me on Twitter. It's at Sort of Sports Pod if you want to do that. If you don't, I can't really stop you. Odds are, I have no way really of proving anything. You could be an infinite, not an infinite, there's like 8 billion people on the planet or whatever. Regardless, I'm not going to hold it against you, so don't worry about it. But yeah, it's at Sort of Sports Pod in case you're not following and you'd like to. There you go. I don't really ever promote the brand that much, but I guess I should toss that out there every once in a while. On top of that, I changed up all the pod imaging. It is now all Shake Milton because I love Shake. Dalton, who's been on here a couple times, is like, Ryan, why'd you make it that and not, Sadiq? You love Sadiq. And Pistons, Pistons 2024 champions. I was like, yeah, but when they win it in 2024, it's going to be them. So I might as well make it a little different right now. He started laughing. He's like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's going to be Shake for now until I really feel like changing it. But I think it really fits the show because Shake is kind of the legend of the show. So, because he's the best. So, all right, let's get into things, and we'll just start off with the Soto deal, right? The Padres went out and they got Juan Soto and they got Josh Hader. They gave up a lot of prospects to the Nats. One of them, big one, being who was pretty much their shortstop for this season because Tatis was out, and that's C.J. Abrams, and he was playing a lot for them. And then, they shipped him off. He was like their top guy. And their number one prospect, I don't think his name was Hassel. I can't remember his first name. But regardless, they all got shipped off. There's a guy who's 19 years old, 6'7", and has a career OPS above a 1, like essentially, so like 1,000. So he's pretty good. But they shipped off some good things, but the thing is, like, Soto, in my opinion, is the best batter in baseball, and the stats pretty much prove it. He is offensively the best player in baseball, and I truly think he is. I think he actually has the chance to go down there with, like, Ted Williams as, like, just, like, one of the best batters ever overall. Like, walks, hits, like, just crazy. And I think Soto, some people are calling him the next Ted Williams, and to be perfectly honest, I kind of agree. I'm a huge, huge Soto backer. I love Soto, so you better believe I flipped out when he went to the Padres because, MLB's the one I'm least loyal with the team. But, the Padres like one of my favorite teams, if not my favorite. I love this Padres team because my favorite player, Tatis, is there. Soto's probably like my fourth or fifth favorite player in the league. So I was just so freaking happy. That's why he's going to be, probably the thumbnail, I'm assuming, for this episode, I'm thinking. So, yeah, I love Soto. I'm so happy about this deal. Definitely the most important deal of the deadline. And we'll talk about that more when at the end of the MLB section I'm going to discuss, World Series standings and everything's gone, which, this deal definitely made the Padres a favorite, in my opinion. They also got, Josh Bell. So Josh Bell's kind of a stud. Big boy, and he hits bombs. And Eric Hosmer hadn't been the best for them lately, and so I think it was a heck of a move. If I was looking at this article on MLB.com, they have, the most important deals of the deadline. The top two were both the Padres deals, the Hader and the Soto. And to be perfectly honest, I agree. I think Mancini has an argument to be number two to the Stros, but still, yeah, props to the Padres. AJ Preller, the GM. I'm impressed because you got two of the biggest players available at the deadline, if not the biggest two. Soto was the big prize, right? It was like the biggest trade in MLB history type thing, and they did it. And so I'm really happy for him, and I really think it's going to pay off. And Hader, last year's Cy Young, exceptional stud, and they needed a pitcher like him. They needed a good reliever. So I think it was perfect, and it makes sense. All right, so the Yankees got some pitching. They got Frankie Montas and Lou Trevino for some prospects. I think it's a solid move. The Yankees definitely need to. Pitching is definitely their weakness, I would say. Well, I think actually, honestly, when I think about it, that's probably is their biggest weakness for the Yankees, and I think about it because they've been batting exceptionally well. Braves also, usually you see a lot of pitching guys. So, for example, the Braves got Iglesias from the Angels for two of their pitchers. That went on. So, a lot of pitching things, but really one of the big ones I want to touch on was this move, which the Astros got Trey Mancini, who's been great lately for the O's, and it was a 3-team deal. Jose Siri goes to the Rays, and then two of the pitching prospects from the Rays go to the Orioles. So, to me, that's a steal for the Rays. I really like Jose Siri. I think he's pretty good, so I think he fits perfectly in with the Rays. The Stros right now are scaring me. They are playing like, they're out for the World Series this year. They have been in the pennant, the last, I think every year since 2017? Were they in the 2018 pennant? Let me check this. They might have been. My gosh, that's insane. All right. Yep. The Stros Red Sox. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So every year since 2017, the Astros have been in the pennant. So odds are they're going to be in it again for the, wow. So it would be 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 6th straight year. So that's craziness. But, and yes, I can do 17. Yeah, I knew it was +5, but I was thinking, wouldn't that actually be 6? Because don't want anyone to think I can't do math, all right? I promise I can do basic math. But the Stros are kind of scaring me. I really was sad to see the O's sell because I really kind of wanted to see them make a bit of a run here. They were playing well. But in the AL, the way it's stacking up right now, it's like you've got your big boys, which is your Yankees and your Stros, and then you've kind of got everybody else. So you just got to decide whether you're going to be one of those that competes or not, if that makes sense. There's really not a good reason to be like the Red Sox and just be kind of pretty good but not exceptional, because you can't just be that way right now in the AL, especially in the AL East, because the Red Sox have won 53 games and they are last place in the AL East. For example, if they were in the AL Central, they would be right in between the White Sox and Guardians, who are fighting for second and third. They would also only be 2 games back from the Twins, who are in first. So I'm saying, the Red Sox, in my opinion, if they're in the AL Central, they'd probably be up there with the Twins, if not winning the division. So I just think it's interesting, That AL East is the toughest division right now in the AL, far and away. And, I think the Yankees are going to win it. And I think, the Rays are very well run. They always, make it work with their guys they have. Now they kind of have built some stars over time with Wander Franco and Randy Arozarena. I mean, obviously they always got pitching. And so Rays are always a threat. So, if you're in the AL East, I wanted to see the Orioles make a run, but I completely get why they sold. It just kind of makes me sad because I really kind of wanted to see them make a bit of a run because they've been so bad. And, like Shane McClanahan, he's been like a Cy Young this year, so on the Rays. I know I was jumping around, but I was thinking about that. So, yeah, other big moves from the deadline. Really, those are the ones that really stood out to me were the Mancini move. Oh, I forgot about this. So the Phillies got Noah Syndergaard and Brandon Marsh, and then sent some guys over to the Angels in return. So what's interesting about this is the fact that the Angels, there was some rumors that Ohtani was going to get moved. I never really thought he was going to. But I do think within the next year, Ohtani's probably moved. Like by next trade deadline, Ohtani is probably not an Angel. Trout probably still is, which is kind of sad because I'd like to see Trout, win. But Ohtani's probably going to be somewhere else. Hopefully anywhere but the Yankees or Dodgers. Maybe him and Aaron Judge will link up on the Mariners or something. That'd be dope, wouldn't it? I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'd love it to be my Marlins. Gosh, I was so glad that they didn't make any big sells because I saw that they were going to sell at the deadline, and I was like, no. If they trade Jazz Chisholm, I'll cry, and they didn't. And they didn't. Of course, they weren't going to trade Sandy Alcantara. That wasn't going to happen. But regardless, I do think Shohei's going to be gone within the next year. It's kind of sad. The Angels are just perfect for a YouTube video in 20 years. It's you obviously know the legendary, Babe Ruth, next Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani, and Mike Trout, arguably the greatest player of all time based off statistics. But, did you know these guys played together and didn't even make the playoff? That's going to be one of those videos. And I don't really want to see that video because I think it's sad that, two of the best players probably of all, they'll probably both go down as, two top 25 players of all time, maybe top 10 of all time in the MLB. And they were on the same team and didn't even make playoffs. It's really sad. Granted, Trout gets hurt a lot, but still, it's just sheesh. All right. So those are the biggest moves at deadline. Now let's move over to standings. So right now, Yankees have the best record in baseball with 70 wins. Oh, no, sorry, the Dodgers do. 72 wins. Yikes. Dang it. The Dodgers have the best record in baseball with 72 wins. Yankees right behind us 70, and the Astros right behind them with 69. Nice. So, basically what's going on here is if you look at the National League, your powerhouse teams are your Mets, Braves, Dodgers, and now Padres. Now they got Soto. So, Giants, I'm sorry, guys, now that the Padres got Soto and all that, I don't think the Giants make the playoffs. Right now they're sitting at 51, 55. I don't think they're going to have a better I don't think their next 2 months are going to be good for them. Then NL Central, Brewers and Cardinals both have identical records at 57-48. I think the Cardinals have a better, I don't know. I feel like the Brewers are pretty good, but I actually don't like them as much as I liked them last year. I think they got worse. I don't think they're as good as they were last year, and I think the Cardinals are kind of pretty good this year. The Cardinals aren't going to go far in the playoffs, but I could see them making it. The Phillies, their weird team is actually pretty good. So right now they're 57-48. If the playoffs happen today, it would be Mets, Brewers. Phillies and Cardinals would have to play a tiebreaker game to get in the wild card. But it'd be Mets, Brewers, Dodgers, Braves. And then, yeah, I'm trying to think. That's right. Because I think you give 2 spots. I'm trying to make sure I remember this right. Yeah. Right? It's 2 teams are in the wild card. No, it's 3 teams. So it would be Cards, Braves, Phillies. No, never mind. I was right the first time. There's 3 teams, but the Phillies and Cardinals have an identical record, so one of them would have to win because the Padres are going to be in the playoffs because they're at 61 wins right now. So if it happened today, the Dodgers have a bye. The Mets would play, let's just for kicks say the Phillies, right? The Mets would play the Phillies. No, not the. Yeah, the Mets would play the Phillies. And then. Crap. I gotta look this up. I can't even remember how the playoffs work. Give me a moment. 2022 MLB playoffs. How does this work again? I can't remember. All right, and MLB expanded playoffs. I feel so dumb, but I genuinely can't remember how this works. Okay, so there's 3 division winners, and then 3 wild card teams. So who? During the wild card round, they sit out. All right. Interesting. Okay. So the 1 and 2 seeds both get a bye. Didn't remember that. Here we go. So this is how it would work if the playoffs ended today. Your NL playoffs would be Dodgers, Mets would have a bye. The Brewers would play the winner of a Phillies-Cardinals tiebreaker. The Padres would play the Braves. Padres-Braves, to me, is the most interesting series because, honestly, a part of me believes that's the actual pennant. Because I think those are 2 really good teams. So that's just my opinion. So then the winner of that would play the winner of the Brewers Cardinals Phillies thing that's going on. So let's say the Brewers win that, and then it'd be like Padres or Braves versus the Brewers, and then the winner of that would play the winner of the Dodgers Mets series. No, I can't. Why can't I do this right? Gosh. Okay, this is how this would work. First round, wild card round. Padres play the Braves. Then the Brewers would play the Phillies or Cardinals. Let's say the Brewers win. Let's say the Padres win. Now, the lowest seed is the Padres, so the Dodgers play the Padres, and then the Brewers would play the Mets. Say the Mets win. Say the Padres win. Now it's Mets-Padres. The pennant I picked earlier in the year, I took the Mets to win. Now I would take the Padres to win. Padres in the World Series. So the Padres have a rough run to the World Series because they're probably going to be the 1 or 2 seeded wild card. I don't think they're going to be the last place wild card. So regardless, they're probably going to have to play the Braves, which is going to suck because the Braves are good. Or they're going to have to play the Mets because the Braves will take the Mets to spot. So either way, that's tough, real tough. And then after you go through them, you're potentially going to play the Dodgers. So that's not fun. I mean, playing the Dodgers is never fun, especially if you lose. I hate when that happens. But honestly, I do think out of the NL teams, the best team right now, I do actually believe that your best teams are, in this order, Padres, Dodgers, Braves, right? Or the Mets. It's tough for me to pick between Braves and Mets. And I know I just said the Padres are the best team, even though they have the 4th best record. But this team won like 58 games in the first 100, right? Pretty sure that's how that worked. Something like that, right? They won like over 50 games, 55 games, I think, in the first 100 without Tatis the whole time. Manny was playing incredible. Now you've added the best batter in baseball and one of the best relievers, and you're going to get your best player back. To me, it just feels like they're going to be crazy, and they're going to be peaking right at the right time in the playoffs, because that's really what goes on. I mean, we've seen teams that have won over 100 games, and then they get to the playoffs, and boom, they just lose like to a wild card team. It just like, that incredible Mariners team last time they made the playoffs of Ken Griffey, A-Rod, Randy Johnson, Ichiro. Like, that team was stacked. Boom. Out in the DS. Or, for example, Foolish Baseball just made a great video about the 2017 Cleveland Indians, and when they broke the Moneyball streak, they won 22 straight games because Moneyball won 20. Both of them lost in the DS. It's just sometimes how it goes. So, just whoever's hot at the right time. That's why the Nationals won the World Series in 2019. All right, moving over to the AL. So, looking at the AL, with the moves that are made, I kind of believe the Stros are the best team now. And then it would go Yankees second. And then, am I going to go Blue Jays? Yeah, probably Blue Jays. Third, I want to put the Mariners fourth. I do. I'm going to do it. Mariners fourth and Rays fifth. My pennant right now, if I had to pick, I honestly think the Mariners could make a playoff run. I'd love to see them do it, but I probably shouldn't bet on it. I probably should just go with my gut. and say, well, not go with my gut. My gut feeling would be to put the Mariners far, but I feel like I'm letting myself get a little too excited. I should probably pick like Stroh's Yankees or Stroh's Blue Jays. But honestly, right now the World Series to me is looking like an Astros Padres, and I do think the Padres are going to win it. I actually believe that. I think they just got a crazy good team. So, but I could be wrong. If it's Mets, I will 100% root Mets. Braves depends on who they play in the AL. If the Mariners go far at all, I'm rooting for the Mariners. If it's Mariners Padres, I'll literally flip out. But yeah, from the AL teams. Yeah, from the NL, I'm definitely rooting more for the NL guys because I would like to see the Brewers do well. Cardinals are just so like meh. Like Cardinals really aren't interesting. Like even when they're good, like it's just kind of like eh. Like no one's really that interested in the Cardinals. They just don't have a lot of fun to them. I don't know. It's kind of boring. So yeah, Brewers would be fun to do well. Mets, Padres, screw the Dodgers. Braves aren't really that interesting to me, and then Cardinals definitely aren't interesting. And then from the AL, it's like I don't see a Twins run happening. Stros, I don't really want to see it happen, but they probably will. Yankees, I would hate to see it happen, and I might. Blue Jays, that'd be kind of fun. Rays would obviously be fun, and Mariners would be the most fun. So that's what I think from the MLB. Now let's rank these city jerseys, because I said I was going to do that once they showed them all off, and they have. Let's start off with my number one, and that is this Angels uniform. It's like a surfer uniform because it's like, they like the beach because they're in California, and I think it looked great. I love it. I like the little font, like the script they use for Angels. It looks great. It's got like a off-white color, and it's really freaking cool. I love this jersey, and on top of that, I love the hat. I literally bought the hat. I liked it so much. My number two, really close second, is the Rockies one. That looks better than the regular stuff, and I actually like the regular Rocky stuff. I'm just saying, I don't know if it looks better. I'm saying they could just keep this as a regular uniform from now on because this looks great. As much as I like the Rocky stuff, I actually think they pull off the purple and black pretty well. This is pretty sweet. With the green, with the mountains, it looks beautiful, and the hats are sweet. I bought one of these hats too. Third, I'm going to go with the Marlins. I actually like the red, white, and blue. I don't know how the Marlins screw up the Miami Vice look, but somehow they do. It doesn't even look that good on them. I don't know how they've messed it up. It's like a proven winning color scheme, and they somehow have effed it up. I don't know what they did. But regardless, this uniform is nice. I like the red, white, and blue. Looks nice. Fourth's the Stros. I just like the Space City thing. I think it looks pretty cool. The blue and the orange really pop, and it's got a weird gradient, which I'm not usually a fan of, but I like it, and the hat's really cool. Fifth is the White Sox. To me, people flip out over these, the ones that say South Side, but like to me, it's just a weaker version of their regular black uniform, and I like it. And I'm not a huge fan of the hat, but it's cool. Like it's a cool jersey. I'm just saying I don't think it's as amazing as everybody says. 6 is the Brewers, this Brew Crew jersey. I like it. I think it's kind of fun with the powder blue. I like it when they wear powder blue. It's not anything like incredible. It looks pretty cool. We're starting to get the ones I don't love as much. 9th is the Padres. Some people really like these. I think they're cool. Like I think they're really fun. But I am not a huge fan because I love the brown and yellow. I love the brown and yellow Padres. I wear that Padres hat I own so much. I love that hat. It's my favorite hat I own in my collection. And it's really special to me because it's like one of the first ones I ever bought. So I love the brown and yellow Padres. It's probably why I'm a little more negative on this. I think it's a really clean jersey. I like it. To be perfectly honest, I probably should have put it higher. But there it is at number 7. All right, number 8, we have the Nationals. I like this jersey. I think it's pretty cool. I just don't think it's super exciting. With the little roses, the gray, but it looks nice. And also, like the regular National stuff is kind of cool, but it's not incredible. Whereas the Padres, their regular stuff is so good that it makes this look actually a little worse, in my opinion. All right, 9th, we got the Giants. I really like this orange hat that goes with this jersey, but I don't really like the jersey. I don't like the gradient. I think it looks kind of weird. I'm just not a huge fan of it. 10th is the Diamondbacks. I think they had an interesting concept here with going like a goldish tan, and it's cool, and I like the meaning behind it with like the desert and the Hispanic culture. But I don't love it. I just think it's a little bland, and the regular Diamondback stuff is kind of pretty cool. 11th is the Red Sox. Yeah, this one is not really bad. It's just weird to see the Red Sox in yellow and blue. I like the idea behind it. I think it's cool, but I don't think it's incredible looking. It's like it's okay. It's pretty good. I would never buy the hat. I would never buy the jersey. I think it looks a little weird. I think it just looks a little weird. But I think it's cool that they did this. All right, 12 is the Dodgers. This uniform could have been great. Like the Los Dodgers thing is pretty cool. It's in honor of Fernando Valenzuela. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's basically in honor of him and the Dodgers connection to like the Latin community in LA. And I think that's cool. Like I think it's an interesting meaning behind it because all the city connects have like meanings. Like the Padres one partially being like the sunset of San Diego, which I like. And I think the blue uniform looks really cool, but the hat just is so bad. It really hurts it. If they had a better looking hat with it, I think I'd probably have it higher. All right. 13 is the Royals. This one is just kind of weird looking. I don't really like what's going on. The font is so weird with the lines in it. It just looks kind of goofy. And I just don't really like it that much. I like the regular Royals stuff, but it's eh. The worst one's far and away the Cubs. The Wrigleyville, it just looks dumb. It's that simple. It looks dumb. I don't like it. The navy blue looks bad. The powder blue doesn't look good with it. I don't like it at all, and it's bad. So I'm very disappointed that those exist because they're bad. All right, now let's hop into some movies. Probably gonna go see DC League of Super Pets. Looks pretty fun. Don't think it's going to top The Batman as best movie of this year. But since we're talking about best movie this year, let's look at, what's coming out. What's left. I did go see Nope. Some people love it. I really wanted to love it. I'd never seen a Jordan Peele movie because, I wanted to see Get Out, but, I'm not a big horror guy. So I might watch it eventually. I'm probably never going to watch Us. I just don't really like horror movies, and that one's probably, I've heard, is, his actually scariest, and I'm like, I'm probably not going to do that. But I might watch Get Out at some point. And I watched Nope. Really wanted to like it. Didn't. I really didn't like it. Thought it was pretty all right. Just thought it had some interesting concepts, but I never really executed them as much as I wanted it to. It just kind of felt. It wasn't slow. It was pretty intense. It never got hit like a level where I was like, oh shoot, this is next level. It was just always kind of felt like we were in second gear and we never really shifted. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was just kind of. I wanted it to reach a higher level, and it never did. But some people loved it, and I wish I did as much as they did, because I really wanted to. But sad truth is I didn't. So I really wanted to like Nope, but I wanted it to be in my conversation for best movie of 2022, but it's really just a Batman versus Top Gun fight right now. So other than that, what's left? So I am, pretty excited for Knives Out 2, Glass Onion. I don't know what's going to be going on here. Ryan Johnson's back again, and Daniel Craig's going to be Benoit Blanc again. So I feel like that'll be pretty interesting. That's going to be out on Netflix. I'll definitely watch that. So I'll be intrigued with what's going on there. But realistically, your biggest thing is going to be Avatar 2. It's the biggest movie left this year, other than... I don't know about that, because I think there's an argument that Black Panther 2 is bigger. But my big movies that I'm anticipating this year are, this kind of goes in with the DC stuff. It's Black Adam. I'm actually pretty excited for it. I think it looks fun. Shazam 2. I actually really love the first Shazam. A lot. I really like that movie, so I'm really excited for this. And then I'm definitely going to go see Avatar 2. I think it looks cool. I'm excited. I think it's going to be better than the first one. So I hope it is, because I'm pretty excited about it. Then Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, probably my most anticipated movie left, now that I think about it. I mean, if we look back on my most anticipated movies of the year, let me take a look at this. Okay, so my most anticipated movies from this year was Mario movie, which has been delayed till 2023. Uncharted, which was not that good. Creed 3, which has been delayed. The Flash, which has been delayed, and I'm not even sure what's going to go on there with Ezra Miller and everything. Black Adam, which I'm going to go see in a couple months. Doctor Strange 2, which was pretty good. Nothing incredible, though. Black Panther 2, which I'm very excited for. The trailer looked incredible. Indiana Jones 5, which has been delayed. Thor 4, which kind of disappointed me. I didn't have a chance to talk about that. I'll talk about that in a moment. And then Spider-Verse 2, which got delayed, and then The Batman. The Batman obviously lived up to the hype of it being my most anticipated movie. So good on The Batman. But, yeah, I went and saw Thor 4. I just kind of... We'll talk about the MCU stuff when we get to the MCU stuff. All right, let's talk about the 2022 movies that are left. So, realistically, the movie I'm probably most excited for is Black Panther 2. I have a theory, which I'm not going to take full credit. It was on mostly nitpicking. Nando V Movies, a guy on YouTube I watch, talks about a lot about superhero movies, and he has his own podcast called Mostly Nitpicking that he does. And on there, he brought up an excellent point, which is Killmonger dies in the first one by being thrown into the ocean. Well, Namor, the villain in Black Panther 2, is from the ocean. So there's a chance he gets brought back, and he's the new Black Panther, which I would love. I think that'd be awesome if Killmonger was the new Black Panther, and the reasoning can be something like, why is he good now? Well, because it's something like, he could say something like, you're going against my people, and, Wakanda, now that T'Challa's gone, I need to respect his vision, or something like that. Like, he gains respect for T'Challa, and, he feels a need to his people, or something like that. Now that he's seen, these monsters that are Namor's people, maybe, right? Like, maybe he sees the Namor's people as monsters, and so he's like, oh, well, I need to protect Wakanda. Something like that. I would love that. I really hope he's in it. I mean, if it's Shuri, that's fine. That's cool. I mean, I'm cool with that. Honestly, I prefer it to be Okoye. I really like Okoye, like, a lot. I think she's really cool. So I'd actually prefer her to be Black Panther, but I don't think they're going to do that. It probably is Shuri, and that'll be cool. But there's a part of me that'd be like, how freaking sweet it'd be if it was Killmonger. My gosh. But yeah, Shuri is probably Black Panther, and I'm cool with that. Maybe it's Nikita, but I don't think Nikita's going to be it. I mean, Lupita Nyong'o, I think that's how we pronounce that. She's really good, so maybe they want her to be the star, but I'm not sure. I mean, people have been talking about maybe like Angela Bassett taking over as mother, and I'm like, that'd be cool. I mean, I will watch it no matter what, and I'll like it no matter what. It's just the character of Killmonger was so cool, like one of my favorite Marvel villains, like up there with like Thanos for me. I just really want to see him back. But like if it's Shuri and he's not even in it, that's cool. I'm just happy Winston Duke is back as M'Baku. M'Baku is sweet. All right. Comic-Con. So the Shazam 2 trailer dropped. It looked really fun. They made a Fast and Furious joke, which I laughed at. What's interesting, though, no one's talked about, is they changed his costume. Shazam, it's like, it used to have the big lightning bolt in, like, the center. Now it, like, connects to his neck. And I think it still looks good. It just doesn't look as... I think it looks a little less cool. I'm a little sad. But, it's fine. Also, it doesn't really make sense to me. How does he change his costume if he says Shazam and it just, like, shows up? You see what I'm saying here? Like, okay, so he says Shazam and the costume is magically on him, right? So then he says Shazam again, and it's off of him. So how would he ever change the costume? It would just be like he says Shazam one day, and all of a sudden, boom, it's different. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. This is something they never thought about. They probably just changed it so then they all look more uniform together because they wanted them to look that way. Or it was less CGI, and they wanted that. Probably one of those two. Regardless, I'm actually really excited for this, and I'm really excited for the Black Adam movie. The Black Adam trailer looked sweet. And the whole thing of Dr. Fate and everything, that looks kind of interesting. I'm like, okay, DC, you got me interested. Because the thing is with DC right now is that they've got, like... Okay, so they've got 3 movies that I really like. And that's The Suicide Squad. I mean, like, since they made Man of Steel, right? Obviously, if we go back, I love, like, the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. So we're not doing those. I'm saying, like... They've got, ever since, like, 2013, they make Man of Steel, they've had, like, 3 movies that were, like, excellent, that I really love. Like, they would be up there. If they were MCU movies, they'd be up there with some of my favorites. And that's The Suicide Squad, Shazam, and, of course, like, The Batman, which is, like, the crown jewel of what they've made. Like, that's probably even above. I shouldn't even put it in there with Suicide Squad and Shazam. Nothing against those two. It's just, like, The Batman is just so exceptional. It goes in a category all by its own. It's, like, some of the... I guess I should say they have 2 excellent movies, and then, like, one movie that's, like, one of the best superhero movies of all time, and that's The Batman. Then they've got like stuff that I thought was pretty fun. Like I liked it enough, and that was like Aquaman and Wonder Woman. I like both those. If they were in the MCU, they'd be like pretty high mid for me. Like with like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where it's like you're pretty good. I'll watch you sometimes, but you're not like one of my favorites. Then you've got movies that I'm like more on, and that's like Justice League 1, Man of Steel. Some people are really into Man of Steel. I am not. Then you've got like awful, which is like the first Suicide Squad and like Batman vs Superman. I would put Zack Snyder's Justice League with the pretty good, like Aquaman in that. Maybe I would put it. No, I don't think I'll put it as high up as Suicide Squad and Shazam. I love those two. So I have actually never watched Birds of Prey, so I'm not even gonna rank that. And I never saw Wonder Woman 84 because I heard it was so bad. I just didn't go see it. I saw a little bit of it one time. They were showing it, and I was like, caught a little bit of it, and I was like, I'm not really that interested in this. I might go see Bullet Train. I've thought about it. I'm not sure. Regardless, yeah, so I'm pretty excited for the movies left. I mean, there is a chance Black Panther 2 or Avatar 2 can make a run for Batman's crown, but we will have to see. It is shaping up to be an exceptional year for movies, though, because, I mean, Top Gun and Batman are both, like, awesome, amazing movies. And then from a box office perspective, I mean, Top Gun's done exceptionally well. Multiverse of Madness did really well. The Jurassic World movie that I didn't like at all did well. Batman obviously did well. Nope's doing pretty well, so that's good. Box office is back. Very happy about that because I love movie theaters, and I love going to movie theaters, so I'm very glad. It's also weird to think about the movie Death on the Nile came out because that movie, like, I don't know, it's just, I don't know. No one really cares, including me, to be perfectly honest. All right, it's time for the Marvel stuff. All right, so Marvel unveiled their whole thing, and here's my thing with Marvel right now. I've always been a big Marvel backer. Actually, wait, let's hop on one more thing. One more thing with DC. One more, sorry. So for DC, next year they're going to have Aquaman 2, which I'm pretty excited about. Interested to see what they do there. Whatever is going to go on with this Flash movie, I genuinely have no clue what's going to go on here. So we'll have to see. The Blue Beetle movie, which I'm actually kind of excited about, looks pretty sweet. Like just off some of the behind-the-scenes things I've seen. And then the Batman sequel is truly what I care about. I don't know what they're doing with Superman. I would like to see them just make a good Superman movie. But regardless, yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, Batman 2 is where it's at, right? Like, come on. Batman 2 is going to be awesome. I mean, I think it'll be even better than Batman 1. And I hope they do Mr. Freeze. I know some people are like, oh, it doesn't really fit the story. I think he can make it work. Full faith in Matt Reeves to do it. So I want to see Mr. Freeze in this one, and then hopefully we get Court of Owls and Joker in the next one. Because there's no way they're not doing Joker, even though I kind of would have been fine with no Joker, just because, like, I mean, Joker's incredible. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I wanted to see Court of Owls. If they do Court of Owls and Joker, and they can pull them off together in the third one, sweet. But really, all I really want is Mr. Freeze, and I want it to be Giancarlo Esposito. That'd be sweet. Granted, if it's not Mr. Freeze and it's not Giancarlo Esposito, I will 100% go see the movie regardless. But it would be pretty freaking sweet if they did Mr. Freeze, and it'd be pretty sweet if it was Giancarlo Esposito because he's great. All right, finally on to the Marvel stuff. So my thing is with Marvel is that out of the Phase 4 stuff, the only thing that really blew me away was No Way Home. You guys, if you listen to the podcast, you know that I loved that movie. It's my best movie of 2021. I thought it was exceptional. I loved it. Other than that, it's like Shang-Chi I liked, but I felt like the first half of the movie was way better than the second half. Black Widow, if it came out like 5 years earlier, I probably would have liked it better, but it just kind of felt pretty good. Like I really liked Florence Pugh as her sister. Thought she was great. But the villain was not really that interesting. Taskmaster didn't really do very interestingly, and it was just kind of meh. Then, Eternals was bad. Eternals was just bad movie, in my opinion. Just didn't like it at all. And then, and that's not me being like, oh, there wasn't enough action. No, it was just like the characters weren't freaking interesting. People do that. They're like, oh, when Marvel doesn't do explosions every 30 seconds, you don't like it. No, it's called the characters sucked. I remember her name was Cersei, and there was Icarus, and he flew into the sun. That was his whole bit. I'm like, none of the characters were interesting. The one guy, I forget his name. I think he was like Hephaestus essentially. Like he was a big dude, and he was Angelina Jolie's husband in the movie, and he was great. And then he dies, and I was like, oh, there goes my one really kind of interesting character. Actually, no, I should give oh crap. I should give the one guy more credit. The one that was the movie star, he was great. The comedian, can't remember his name all of a sudden. Okay, how come when I Google Eternals, the number one person on the cast is Harry Styles? Guys, come on. He is not the main star of the movie. What are we doing here? All right, where is he? Where is he? Oh yeah. The guy who played Kingo. He's the comedian. I don't want to butcher his name terribly. I think his last name is Ninjaji. Johnny. I've never been able to say it. He's been in a lot of comedy stuff. He was great as the superstar actor guy. He was great. And then Kit Harington being Black Knight, that was probably the cool part at the end. I liked that. I liked the cool part at the end when it was Black Knight and Blade. Blade's voice, just Mahershala Ali coming in and saying 2 lines was easily the best part of Eternals. Just the post-credits scene. My gosh, it was not, no. Apparently they're working on a sequel, probably going to have something to do with Eros, Harry Styles' character. It was not, I was very disappointed by Eternals. It was just not, not anything really to write home about. So that was disappointing as heck. Then Multiverse of Madness, I liked it in the moment, and then as things went on, I was kind of like, I don't know, I think I liked that as much as I thought I did. I'm like, I liked some of it, but I think if I re-ranked the MCU, I might take it back a few notches. I don't think I'd put it where I put it last time. But that brings me, then I should go to Thor. So in Thor 4, I was super excited for it. I'm like, this one is going to make or break it for me. I'm like, if this is exceptional, I'm not going to worry about the MCU movies just not being the same as they used to be. I'm just going to be fully in, not worry about it. Then I watched it and I was like, oh crap, this really isn't that interesting. The plot, it just felt like they didn't, not a lot went on. They go to obviously spoilers for this. They go to the place of all the gods and Russell Crowe's there and they make some funny jokes. And then it was funny. I'm not one of the ones, some people have been reviewing it. They're like, oh, it's too many jokes. I don't even know if it's that as much as the story wasn't interesting. You had Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher, and he was interesting when he was in it, but he wasn't ever really in it. He never really had a lot to do. It was just I kidnapped these children, come get me. This is a plot of an episode of Underdog. I don't know. It didn't feel interesting. It just never really hooked me. The plot, it was just kind of oh, this is just happening. I don't know. It just didn't feel, the stakes felt like nothing. You had someone who had Jane Foster literally has a terminal illness, which is terrible, and yet I didn't really feel the feeling of stakes. When there's literally that is a huge stake. She's dying quickly. That's not good, and yet almost just kind of oh, okay. Hopefully that gets worked out. And then it didn't. She died. I was like, sheesh. That's a lot. And then, they play some Guns N' Roses and the movie ends. I was just kind of I don't know. It just felt kind of empty. I was like, come on, guys. This is nowhere near as good as Ragnarok. Nowhere near as good. I think it's fun. It's a fun movie. If you watch it, you'll enjoy it. But it was not it's not as strong as it should have been. And that's the thing. Is if it was some random movie that was just about, take that plot and change it a little bit to make it fit something else, right? Then, okay, maybe I like the movie a little more. If it's not, I don't have the expectation of it being the sequel to Thor Ragnarok. But still, it's I had very high expectations. You didn't meet them at all, so I'm disappointed. So, yeah, that's where I'm at the MCU, is I'm exceptionally concerned. Basically, after going out of that, I was like, okay, the MCU is just not the same it used to be. Hopefully they can get back to the way it were. Right now, I don't have a lot of faith. And I'm not a huge fan of all the TV show stuff because they've essentially created 3 fandoms, which is the casual people who always existed that just go to the movies every once in a while. They haven't seen all of them. They know what's pretty much going on. But usually, they go with a friend that knows what's going on, and they have to explain it to them kind of on the car ride to set them up for them. I have a lot of friends that are like this, and it's fine. I mean, I'm not going to get on anybody. It's your choice what you watch entertainment-wise. I'm not going to flame you because you don't watch all the Marvel movies. Like, it's your freaking choice. So, well, actually, I might make fun of you a little bit. But, maybe. I don't know. I shouldn't say things like, oh, I'm not going to make fun of you, because I have given somebody a hard time. Like, really? You didn't watch this? Come on. You might as well try it. But, like, at the end of the day, it's your choice, right? You watch what you want to watch. Regardless, I think I usually get on people if they're like, oh, I've never seen any of those. I don't want to. Well, you don't try one? Like, come on. I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy, almost everyone can enjoy that movie. It's like probably the best MCU movie. It's exceptional. I'm like, come on. But regardless of that, back to the main point, getting off topic. My point is, they've created like 3 fandoms where they've got like the really casual ones that just go every once in a while. And, that's where a lot of your money comes in, because that's your biggest group is your casual fan, technically, right? Because that's everyone, if it's going in rings, it's like you've got a big third ring, which is your casual. Then there's a smaller ring inside of that, which is like your kind of diehards, which are like people that keep up, but they don't watch everything. And then you've got your extremists, who they watch all the stuff. They watch every Disney Plus show. They watch every movie. Like, those people, props. You watched all of Falcon and Winter Soldier. You watched all of Ms. Marvel. You watched all this stuff. Good job. Props. I'm like, I didn't feel like watching all that. I didn't. I think out of the TV shows, the only ones that have really interested me are Moon Knight, I thought looked interesting. Loki looked very interesting. And then Ms. Marvel looked kind of interesting to me. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I was just kind of like, I'm like, I don't really care that much about this whole like spy espionage plot they've got going on here. And then I heard that Sharon Carter was like the twist villain, and I was kind of like, I mean, I like the character of Falcon. I've never been a huge fan of the Bucky character, but apparently he's really good in that show. So, but I was just kind of like Sebastian Stan's apparently like really good as him, which would make sense. Like, I could see that, but it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it eventually. I don't know. They're going to be in Captain America 4, so maybe that'll just be the first time I see him. Because I bet Bucky's going to be in Captain America 4, or he'll be in the Thunderbolts movie. But yeah, I was just kind of like, She-Hulk actually might be the first one I watch. I actually think She-Hulk looks kind of fun, but I'll have to wait, see what's going on. I'm not sure. Really, my biggest intrigue is because Daredevil's in it. I'm a little worried about that new Daredevil show. We'll talk about that later. But the point is, I think they've kind of, because Disney wanted to do all the shows, and, it's like they get more money off the shows and all that stuff, it's kind of hurting them because they're introducing all these heroes so we can have more heroes for the big team up. But it's like, to me, it's a quantity over quality thing. Like, when you were pumping out 2 to 3 movies a year, and they were all bangers. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine today. I was like, from 2017 to 2019, Marvel had an incredible run, because you had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in May of 2017. Then July, you had Spider-Man Homecoming. November, you had Ragnarok. Then February 2018, you had Black Panther. May, you had Infinity War. July, you had Ant-Man and the Wasp. Then going into 2019, you had March, Captain Marvel. And then late April was Endgame. I'm like, that is an incredible run. Not a single one of those, I would say, is a weak MCU movie. I think the weakest one there is Ant-Man and Wasp or Captain Marvel, and I like both of those pretty well. I think I probably prefer... I'm not sure which one I prefer, because, like, Samuel L. Jackson as young Nick Fury is actually really fun in Captain Marvel. Like, he makes that movie for me, and I think a lot of people feel that way. Him and Talos, the Skrull, played by Ben Mendelsohn. Like, the character of Captain Marvel really isn't that interesting in that, but he is. And then Ant-Man and Wasp is just kind of fun. Like, the Ant-Man movies are fun. I like the Ant-Man movies. So, it's a tough one, because it's like, you've got one that's, like, steadily fun, which is, like, it never gets, like, crazy amazing, but it never really gets bad either. And that's Ant-Man and Wasp. Then you've got one where it's like, there's some parts of Captain Marvel I'm kind of like, oh, man, this really isn't that interesting. And then you've got other parts where I'm like, yo, this is awesome. So, it just kind of depends. Regardless of all, I don't know why I keep saying regardless. That's the thing with the MCU, is that I'm a little concerned because they're introducing all these heroes, and I'm pretty sure the linchpin of the universe now is, I think they've said, or it's just obvious, is that it's Doctor Strange. He is like the new Iron Man. He's like the main dog, which would make sense. You know, he's a very popular character, and I think they would like it to be Spider-Man, but because they don't own him, he's just kind of like the secondary one. Like, he's like the Captain America to Doctor Strange's Iron Man type thing. So he's like the other big one, but if you look at this new slate, I think they're kind of trying to replace the Guardians because, you know, like James Gunn and like Dave Bautista, I don't think they're going to want to work with Marvel again after everything that went on, where like they wouldn't hire Dave Bautista and all that, and then they had to be stuff went on with James Gunn and Disney, and it was a whole thing. Like, I don't think James Gunn's working with them. James Gunn isn't. There's no I think James Gunn is not working with them again anytime soon. So after Guardians 3, which is probably going to be the last Guardians of the Galaxy unless they like reboot the team, you know, I think Drax is going to die, and I think probably Star-Lord might die because Chris Pratt, I think, wants to do other stuff. And then it's like, Gamora's already dead, and then it's like, does Rocket really want to stick around? Are they just going to do Rocket and Groot on, like, just pop into Secret Wars, maybe? Right? I don't know. I should get to that when we talk about Guardians. Point is, I'm a little worried about all the Marvel stuff because they just haven't been hitting the heights they used to, and little concerned over, like, the quantity over quality type thing going on. And I think a lot of people are feeling this way. I don't think the Marvel, I mean, they're still making oodles of money, but I think a lot of people I talk to that are like big Marvel guys are like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the shows, or, you know, some of them like love the shows, and they're like, oh my gosh, I love the shows, and I'm like, I just can't do that. I'm like, you're pouring, you know, if I watched all the shows, it would be the equivalent. Here's what's crazy. I saw this stat. If you watched all the shows and all the movies from Phase 4, you would spend as many hours as watching Phases 1 through 3 combined, which is insane to me. Like, because the shows take up so much time because they're hourly shows, and it's just, that's too much. Like, hourly episodes. I'm just like, it's too much. And, you know, when we get to this next big event, it's going to be like, okay, so She-Hulk's going to be there, and Moon Knight will pop up, and it's going to be, and I'm like, at this point, with the Avengers movies, I'm assuming, like, the Kang Dynasty might be, like, might be, let's say, like 15 Avengers. And then, like, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man carry over to Secret Wars. Like, they're the only two. Like, everybody in Kang Dynasty does all that, and then something happens where it's like Kang, because I think what they're going to do is, like, something of Doctor Doom, because it's kind of what Secret Wars is all about, is Doctor Doom. So maybe it's like the Kang Dynasty, big fight with Kang, and then you think they've won, and then Doctor Doom does something is like, okay, Battle World, or whatever's going to go on. And then you do Secret Wars, and it's like, well, now it's the Fantastic Four and a bunch of different cameos, because it's going to be like the crazy multiverse one, and you'll do, you know, maybe like Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Captain Marvel are like the three that carry over. And then everybody else that was in the first movie is like, for some reason or another, not in this one. I don't know. Something like that, right? Like, because they've got so many characters now. Black Panther will probably be like a big player. So, I don't even know. It's just like, they've introduced a lot of characters in a short period of time, which I think could be fine. But I'm not a huge fan of the shows. And I guess I shouldn't say that because I never really took time to watch one. But just like based off what I've heard, I'm like, okay, some of these sound interesting to me. Other ones I really don't have any interest in. So I just stick to the movies, and they've made sense to me pretty much so far, because whenever a show comes out, I just usually, you know, the podcasts I listen to and the things I read, YouTube videos I watch pretty much cover the main points I need to know. Like when Kang showed up in Loki, I, you know, heard somebody talking about it on a podcast, and then I was like, oh, okay, so that's what I needed to know. Fine. I didn't have to watch 8 hours of the Loki show. Exceptional. So, yeah, I mean, it's a little sad because I used to like know all the intricacies of the universe, and now when like Moon Knight pops up and they go, "Hey, Steve," and he goes, "Oh no, I'm Grant," or whatever his other name is. I feel dumb that I can't remember it, but I can't. I didn't watch the show. I just saw the memes and like listened to stuff about it. Point is, whenever that goes on, I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I get that," but I never watched the show, so I don't really have as much of a commitment to Moon Knight. But that's the thing, right? It's like. Literally like putting my head in my hands. Like my hand is like doing the thing where like push it into your eye type thing. I'm just kind of like rubbing my face like, because I am a little sad with the MCU stuff, because like I want it to be super good and I want it to get to the heights it was at with Endgame, But like the show stuff, I think does hurt it. It just hurts the hype. It feels like an oversaturation. Even people that watch all this stuff, I've even heard them say like, "Am I really watching all this just so, when they make that one bit, like they make a little joke, like the Moon Knight joke's a perfect example, where it's like a little joke that only people that watch the show would get. He's like, am I really watching it just for that?" And I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, I just hope the movies are truly the biggest part of it, because you're locking a lot of content behind a lot of hours and a paywall of Disney Plus. So that's why I just, I hope that the TV show is more supplementary content instead of like the main content, because if it's all main content, holy crap, that's a lot. And it's just, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of them doing the show stuff. I feel like a good thing to do with the shows is kind of like what DC did with Peacemaker, where they made the Suicide Squad. That's obviously the main story. And then if you want more about Peacemaker, you go watch a show. So it's not like, it'd be like if they introduced She-Hulk in, let's say, No Way Home. She was in it for 20 minutes for some reason, right? I don't think No Way Home's a good example to use, but I'm going to use it anyway. Probably like Shang-Chi would be a better one. She-Hulk shows up in Shang-Chi, does some stuff. Boom. If you want to see more of her, you watch her show, because they don't really have the confidence to make a She-Hulk movie because they don't think the character will sell enough. That's fine. I understand. And you also can get a like lesser, you don't have to get a super A-lister as the actor, because it's also a TV show now. Like, the girl who was Miss Marvel, props to her. That's her first acting role ever. I mean, that's crazy. Props. But, yeah, I think I get what they're doing. I get why they're doing it. They want to have more characters. They want to put out more content. I just feel like it's a little too much. And on top of that, I don't really know if it's all of the utmost quality, because I haven't heard as much positive praise for MCU stuff lately as you used to. And I think part of it is people are just kind of burnt out. They've kind of oversaturated it. And I think the sad fact of the matter is Multiverse of Madness made more money than Batman, and one of those is a much better movie. Like, I like Multiverse of Madness. Don't get me wrong. I do. But, like, Batman is, amazing. Amazing movie. Like, it is a film. Multiverse of Madness, I like. It is nowhere near as good as Batman. But, yeah. I hope that Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty get to the heights of Endgame. I'm not sure. I definitely think... Okay, let's just run through the movies. It's time. So, the last movie of Phase 4 is Wakanda Forever. We've talked about this a little bit already. I'm not sure... Here's the thing with Marvel. They're not going to screw up Black Panther or Spider-Man. They know what they're doing with those characters. Like, they know what they're doing with Spider-Man. Spider-Man 4, I'm sure, will be good. Coogler knows what he's doing with Black Panther. I'm 100% sure this is going to be really good. I have complete faith. Then, we'll get to that in a moment. So, yeah, I'm very excited for this one. Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. I think it's weird that they're going to introduce Kang here. I'm kind of confused with what's going to go on here, but we will see. I really like Jonathan Majors as Kang. Like, when I saw the clips of him from Loki, I think he's really good, and I'm very excited for him to be Kang. But I'm not really sure what's going to go on with this movie. Apparently, it's going to feel very different from the other Ant-Man movies, which is kind of weird. So, because they're kind of like the more fun ones, and now it's going to be like a big, epic, like, we're setting up the next main villain, which is like, whoa, Quantumania, all right. So, this will be interesting. I'm not sure what's going to go on, but we'll see. All right, Guardians Galaxy Volume 3. I touched on this a little bit. I think James Gunn's going to say, screw you guys, and kill, like, everybody. Like, I think Chris Pratt is dead. Drax is dead. Now, I think this one actually happens before Endgame. So Gamora will be in this. Right? I'm pretty sure this is, like, taking place before Endgame. Maybe. I can't remember exactly. Regardless, this is going to be the end of the story for probably all these guys. I bet Drax dies. I bet Star-Lord dies. And then, obviously, Gamora's already dead. I bet Mantis, Rocket, Groot, and Nebula will stay alive, especially because they're going to want to milk Groot because he's like the baby Yoda of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, now that he's like Baby Groot, they can use him for, like, merchandise. So, I think Star-Lord and Drax are dead. I don't think they're going to do another Guardians Galaxy anytime soon. Like, they might eventually down the line, kind of like give them a soft reboot, give them some different characters, do a different thing. But probably not within the next, 4 to 5 years. Because after this saga, I think they're doing an X-Men saga, and I'll talk about that more in a moment. So, I'm very excited for this one. I wholeheartedly believe this one's going to slap, so I'm very excited for Guardians. This one, I'm not sure what to think about this one yet. The Marvels, it's going to be Miss Marvel from the show, Captain Marvel, and then Monica Rambeau, which was from WandaVision, which I remember seeing. I heard about this too, even though I didn't watch WandaVision, so I know what's going on there. I think it's going to be interesting to see these three people together because we haven't really. I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about this one yet. I'm not really that excited for this, to be perfectly honest. I'm a little concerned because, that means both Captain Marvel movies are essentially like team ups because her first one's like team up with Nick Fury, which is fine. I just think it's kind of odd. And that's the big July movie too. Here's the one I'm most excited for. Like, genuinely, I tweeted about this. It's not a joke. My most anticipated movie out of any of the new Marvel stuff is Blade. It's like Blade, Black Panther 2. Those are like the ones for me. I can't wait for this. I think this is going to be exceptional. I genuinely believe it's going to be amazing. I'm not sure if it's going to be R, PG-13. I really don't care either way. I'm willing to bet they won't let it be R. If not, I'm sure it's still going to be amazing. I think it's going to be great. I just think Mahershala Ali is going to be amazing. So, yeah, I can't wait. So, I think Blade's going to be amazing. Then we've got Captain America, New World Order. So, I think he's going to fight Hulk Hogan in this one. Because, you guys know the NWO from WCW. That's what the New World Order is. So, Hogan, Nash, Hall. I'm not sure if they're going to do it yet where Sting's joined them because that's when they turn into the Wolf Pack. And you have two versions of the NWO, so they might save that for the sequel. But I'm not really sure what's going to go on here. I'm obviously kidding. I mean, not really. That is what the NWO was for pro wrestling, but it's obviously not about that. So this is going to be interesting because they're going to have the Sam Wilson as Captain America. I'm assuming Bucky will do something here. I'm really not excited for this one. I don't know what this is really going to be. I'm kind of thinking this is going to be another one of those where the title changes. It's not actually called New World Order. It's actually Captain America Civil War 2 or something like that, right? I think this actually might be something bigger than they're letting on, to be perfectly honest. So we'll see. But, yeah, right now I'm just kind of like, I'm obviously going to go see this. But I'm not, like, incredibly interested like I am with Blade or Black Panther 2 or Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Then we got Thunderbolts. I am intrigued by this because the actor that played, like, General Ross, like Thunderbolt Ross, who's the Red Hulk, died. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. I'm not sure if they're going to recast him. Maybe they'll put Red Hulk in it and he'll just never be Ross, like always be Red Hulk. But then it doesn't really make sense why they're called Thunderbolts because there's no General Thunderbolt Ross. So I'm not sure what this is going to be. I think they're making this to kind of replace the Guardians because the Guardians originally were more like an anti-hero, ragtag, rougher, tougher group. So then now they're kind of doing this to kind of replace that vibe, I guess, of like the anti-hero group. Because like when they showed up in the Avengers movie, they were kind of more straight up heroes. But I'm saying in the first one, they literally go to like prison. So, they're definitely more anti-heroes. Thunderbolts, I feel like this has potential. If it's bland, that's the thing with MCU movies. They can't all feel the same. You gotta be not just all the same vibe. That's what I'm really hoping here within the next phase. They stop all feeling the same. Because they didn't used to all feel the same, and then they kind of, Phase 4, a lot of it just felt really similar, which is weird because you have more content, so how does it all feel similar? You get what I mean? Regardless, Thunderbolts, I'm not sure if I'm excited for this or not, because a part of me thinks this could be good, another part of me thinks that this could be bad. But I heard a lot of people describing it as the Suicide Squad of the Marvel Universe. That's really not what it is too much in the comics. In the comics, it's more like, originally, it's like Norman Osborn puts together a group of villains and they act like they're heroes to get money. But then the second time around, it was just like a secret team that Thunderbolt Ross ran. So it's been some different things. But the rumor is they're pretty much just going to like do like Suicide Squads with the MCU, which makes sense because Suicide Squad, 2 didn't make a ton of money, but I mean, it's very good. So I don't know what's going to go on here. I'm not sure. I guess I am curious about this one. I'm definitely I don't know if I'm excited as much as I am like intrigued. I'm like, what is going to go on here? This is so weird. So yeah, Thunderbolts. I'm very intrigued by what this could be because like I'm thinking, so like maybe like Hercules from the post-credit scene of Thor 4, and then obviously Julia Louis Dreyfus, uh, Elaine from Seinfeld has been putting together a team. So obviously her team is probably what this is gonna be. So it's like probably like Yelena, who's Black Widow's younger sister, Florence Pugh, probably Baron Zemo, and then maybe Ryan Gosling said he wanted to be Ghost Rider, but I feel like he'd be his own movie, right? But maybe they throw him in here. They've just kind of been throwing Charlie Cox in everything as Daredevil, so maybe he shows up for a bit. I'm just not sure like what villains you're gonna put in this because it's like you're not gonna do Loki, and you're not gonna do Killmonger because Killmonger I think is either dead or he's gonna be Black Panther. So I don't think it's gonna be Killmonger. I'm thinking of like big villains that'd be interesting to see here. I just don't think there's a lot. I don't know who you really do here because I don't know. There's gonna have to be new characters, but then like you're gonna probably use like the old characters like Zemo and them. But who's like your main big character? You're not gonna put Zemo on the front of the poster, right? I mean, I liked him. Some of the parts I did see of Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like with Zemo, were fun. But I'm saying I don't think he's your main dog, is he? I don't know what's gonna go on here. I'm incredibly intrigued by this. It's such a weird pick for them to make. Like Blade, I'm like, yes, that's the proper weird pick. Let's freaking do it. Thunderbolts, I'm like, okay, I'm not sure about this. Then we get Fantastic Four. Super excited for this. I don't really think John Krasinski is the main universe. Fantastic Four. No. Reed Richards. I don't think he's the main universe one. I think they did that just to kind of get the fans what they wanted, and now they're going to cast the real one, and I'm not sure who it's going to be. Apparently, they've been talking about the dude from You. I think he could be pretty good. There was some guy from like an HBO show. I remember that Nando V Movie said that he would like. I can't remember. But I do think it'll be interesting whatever they do here. I think the way they're going to explain them not being in the universe is like either they've been in space for 60 years or they're just from a different dimension and they hop over into ours and it doesn't, Kang Dynasty, so it's the multiverse, so it makes sense. But yeah, I really want this to be good. John Watts is directing, the guy who directed Spider-Man, No Way Home, Homecoming, and Far From Home, so that's exciting. I hope he does a good job. It's going to probably be a different vibe than the Spider-Man ones because those are more like high school comedies, and this obviously is not that. So I'm really intrigued to see what this is. For Johnny Storm, I really hope they do like Dacre Montgomery. I think he would kill it. The dude who's Billy from Stranger Things. He'd be sweet. Sweet. Or like, I mean, even like Eddie from Stranger Things would be pretty great. But I would like to see Dacre more. Dacre would be sweet. Then we've got Avengers Kang Dynasty coming out in May. And then in November of that year, 2025, it's Secret Wars. Secret Wars could be really freaking sweet. That would be awesome. I really think it could be good. I think Kang Dynasty could be really good too. It's going to be directed by the guy who directed Shang-Chi. I think this would be really cool, but they definitely got to step up the quality of the movies, right? I didn't really go through any of the shows. I'll do that in a moment. So, like, to me, if we're going back through everything, Wakanda Forever, I'm crazy excited for it. Quantumania, I'm obviously going to see. I'm going to see all these, but I'm like, I'm not getting my hopes up too high. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, definitely high hopes. Marvel's pretty concerned about this one. Blade, super excited. New World Order, Captain America. I'm the kind of concerned this one is going to be that interesting. Thunderbolts, this is the one I'm like, I don't know what to think about this. Fantastic Four, I have very high hopes for. Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, I'm excited for both, but I hope that by that point the MCU's kind of fixed itself back up again. They're going to make a Deadpool 3. They're going to make Shang-Chi 2. They're going to make Spider-Man 4. These are going to happen. Those are probably like going to be announced to also be in there before Secret Wars, and that sounds great. I'll be very excited for all of those. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with Deadpool 3. Hopefully they do the thing where he's definitely going to break the fourth wall about like Disney paying him to leave or something like that, and that'll be funny, and I'm actually excited for that. I think that'll be great. Spider-Man 4, obviously super excited for what's going to go on there. Shang-Chi 2, please make that instead of Eternals 2. Gosh, they're going to make an Eternals 2, and I really don't want to see it. Gosh, dang it. Okay, but yeah, Shang-Chi 2, that could be fun. I think it could probably step up what the first one had going on. Because the first one was really freaking cool until the end when they just go to the different dimension. That was not cool. I just didn't like that as much. I was like, come on. Yeah, so maybe the second one, they just keep him just doing his martial arts and just fighting the ninjas. It was sweet. So yeah. All right. So, X-Men. What's going to go on there? I think so. Right now we're in the multiverse saga. The saga before this was the Infinity Saga. I think the next saga is going to be called essentially like the Mutant Saga, and that's what they're going to do after Secret Wars. They're going to figure out some reason, whether it's through multiversal stuff or probably not endgame stuff, probably more multiverse stuff. There's going to be something they do in Secret Wars that sets up the mutants. Like when they put the universe back together, it released an amazing amount of energy and it created all these mutants. And so then when we get the new Marvel movie, it's like all of a sudden this Professor X guy, who never even existed in the original with the powers, now he has mind. You know what I mean? Like the past can change, so then they can kind of rewrite history a little bit. Where it's like, oh yeah, this Logan Howlett guy's been around forever, and that's Wolverine, obviously. So I think that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna do something like that where the multiverse is gonna set them up, and I don't think they're gonna bring over the Fox people. I think they're gonna recast. Maybe like Hugh Jackman will have a cameo in Secret Wars, and hopefully they get Wesley Snipes to do one. That'd be fun. But yeah, moral of the story is I am pretty excited about some of these, but overall they just need to step up the quality before I'm excited for everything. But granted, Marvel's making so much money, I don't think they're concerned about what I think. I mean, we're just being honest. Let's think about it. So yeah, that is pretty much my entire thoughts on all the new MCU stuff. I am excited, but like I'm a little scared because I want them to step up the quality. All right. Hope you enjoyed this one. Definitely a lot of movie talk. Probably like the most we've done in a while. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. See you all in the next one. Quick note here, I realized while editing, I didn't even mention anything about the TV shows. So I'm going to do that really quick. Just because I said I was going to talk about the TV shows, even though I'm not sure if I'm going to watch any of these. We'll see. But I'm going to pull up new schedule, the movies and TV. So I know they're doing a Loki season 2. That's good because I've heard that show is good. So good for them. That's good. But Echo, I think that might be pretty interesting. I probably won't watch that. I mean, apparently she was pretty cool in the Hawkeye show, but I'm not incredibly intrigued to see her. Loki, I know that's supposed to be good. So good for that. Ironheart, I feel like this could actually be pretty interesting. But I think they should have waited a little longer on this character. The Agatha show, I don't really have any interest in that at all, especially because I didn't watch WandaVision, so that would make sense. The Daredevil show, probably going to be pretty good, hopefully. I mean, I really hope it's good. Like, really hope so. And, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on all the shows. The Secret Invasion show is the one I'm most interested in. I'm also a little upset that's not a movie because I feel like it's a big enough thing it should have been a movie, and the fact that it's a show means it's going to have less stakes. So that's a little disappointing to me. But overall, yeah, none of the shows really tickling my fancy as much other than like Secret Invasion and then kind of Daredevil. Maybe the Echo show if it's good or the Ironheart show if it's good, but we'll see because Loki show was good and I never got around to that. So can't lie to you guys. All right, bye for real.